Good evening. Oh boy, it's going to be a tough crowd. Good evening. There we go. How many of you were at the National Honor Society meeting? Okay, you need to stay awake through this now. I saw you dozing off in that meeting. Hoodie, especially you. This isn't high school anymore. I'm glad you're here. This is our College Credit Plus meeting, and I'm going to start off by introducing our guest speakers tonight. Over here we have Jennifer Przinski from YSU and Robert Ridgel from Kent Trumbull. Give them a round of applause. And we have Mr. Nicholson in the back. He's going to be my scroller downer. Okay, good job, Mr. Nicholson. Everybody give Mr. Nicholson a round of applause. We're going to get through this as quick as possible. This is a mandatory meeting, according to the state of Ohio, that all parents and students must attend if their student plans on attending College Credit Plus and participating in College Credit Plus. And this is going to serve as our informational meeting and counseling meeting. Okay? And we're going to keep this really informal. And if you have questions, if we can answer it, we'll answer it. And if we can't answer it tonight, we will take that question down and get back to you. So feel free to ask questions. I'm going to give you a little bit of history lesson, all right? This is my 28th year at Newton Falls, and most of it has been in guidance. And I've been doing these meetings for a long time, and every year something changes. Back in 1989 was the first year that the state of Ohio started what they called back then post-secondary options, okay? And in 1989, that program called post-secondary options was mainly meant for juniors and seniors only. It was only allowed for juniors and seniors, and the basic concept was, let's enhance the curriculum that high schools don't have the capability of offering. So if you had a smart child and that child wanted to take Chinese as a foreign language and your high school didn't offer that class, then you would sign your kid up for maybe Chinese class at a college that did offer it. And that was the basic premise on post-secondary options when it first started. Well, it's really transformed and morphed into much more than that. In 1989, in the state of Ohio, only 630 students participated in post-secondary options. And again, it was only allowed for juniors and seniors. In 1997, ninth and 10th graders were added to the list that could participate in post-secondary options. So that's 9 through 12. That was a change. And in 1997, 6,000 students participated in Ohio in post-secondary options. In 2010-11 school year, over 11,000 students participated in post-secondary options. And then in 2015 and 16, they switched the program, they renamed it, and they called it College Credit Plus. And in 2015-16, they said, you know what? We're getting more participation, our students are having success, and we're going to add 7th and 8th graders to this program. So now in the state of Ohio, not only can high school students participate in College Credit Plus, but now 7th and 8th graders are eligible to participate. In 2016 and 17, over 68,000 students in Ohio participated in College Credit Plus and received college credits. So it's come a long way since back in the day, 1989, and this is where we're at. And I have a slideshow that Mr. Nicholson's going to help me kind of go through, and I'll probably jump around a little bit. At the end, I'm going to have Robert from Kent and Jennifer from YSU fill in the gaps of information that I am not confident in speaking about, and I'm also going to have them correct on any mistakes that I make. Okay, so keep track. I'm sure you'll have a long list. Wish I had a table up here. So let's go with the first couple slides here. Let's talk about what is College Credit Plus. College Credit Plus is a dual enrollment program where students can earn high school credits and college credits at the same time. Okay, so the basic premise, the nuts and bolts of College Credit Plus is your child will be in high school or junior high. How many like sixth graders do I have in here? Do I have any sixth graders? 7, how you doing? I can't believe you brought your mom out tonight. How you doing? Who's the other 7th or 6th grader? Okay, good. Yep. All right, this is good. And, I'm going to tell you right off the get-go here that I'm not 100% in favor of students that young doing College Credit Plus, and we'll get into that. But at the very least, you're here, you're hearing the information so that you'll be prepared. If you don't do it next year, you'll know what you're getting into in the future. Okay? How many, let's go with this for a second. How many current 8th graders? Okay, a little bit more. Current 9th graders. All right, 10th graders. 11th. These are my next year seniors. Okay. All right, very good. So your child will be taking college classes while they're in high school. They're going to get high school credit and college credit at the same time. And there's something called option A and option B. And that's still on there, right? Option A and option B on your applications. They have to choose option A and option B. I'm assuming it's still on there. I've never had anybody choose option A. Option A is where you can sign up for the classes for college, and if you get accepted, you take the classes, but you have to pay for the classes. And it does not go on your high school transcripts. And you're probably sitting here thinking, Mr. Kernan, why would I come to this meeting and choose option A so that I would have to pay for it? Well, I've never had anybody choose option A, but the only reason I can think of, if your child is sitting there as a valedictorian right now, 4.0, in line to get valedictorian, and you didn't want to mess that up by taking a difficult college class in jeopardy of maybe getting a B or lower and ruin their perfect 4.0, but you did want them to get a college credit, then you could choose option A. Again, that would not go on your high school transcript. Option B is the choice I'm assuming everyone's going to choose when they apply. And option B is the school district pays for the tuition, okay, pays for the books. All the cost is incurred by the school district. It's free to the student and parent. That's option B. Now, when you choose option B, that's going to go on the high school transcript and your college transcripts, okay? So that's the difference between option A and option B. And Mr. Nicholson, remember those readers I asked you to get me earlier in the day? They're sitting on my desk, so we may have some issues here. Next slide here. Students in grades 7 through 12, let's see if I already talked about this, must complete an assessment exam and be determined eligible for College Credit Plus. And that part I'm going to have you two talk about a little bit. The assessment exam could be any number of things like the ACT test, AccuPlacer, there's a couple other things that I'll let you two talk about. Let's go to the next slide. Oh boy. There we go. Sounds good. We're gonna here we go. Yeah, go to the next one. Okay, when a student, we're going to bounce around a little bit. When a student takes college classes, they have the option of taking pretty much whatever classes they choose to take as long as they're eligible to take it. And what I mean by that, you may want to take a certain math class or certain English class or whatever, but you have to be ready to take that class. And depending on your ACT score, depending on your placement test score, you have to be eligible to take that test. okay? We have a certain thing, it basically goes like this. You may be accepted into College Credit Plus, but you may not be eligible to take the class you want. So there's two different things, being accepted in the CCP and being eligible to take certain classes you want could be two different things, okay? Let's go to the next slide, see what that is. Yes. Okay, and how many of you have taken college classes, parents, if you've taken college classes? So you know, when you take a 3 credit hour class, that's semester credit hours, okay? That's kind of your traditional college class, okay? That's one of the rules that changed fairly recently. Now, in College Credit Plus, every 3 semester credit hour class that you take, whether it's 3 or 4 or 5 hours, you're going to get 1 high school credit, okay? So again, every 3 semester hour class is equivalent of 1 high school credit. If you take a 2 semester hour class, that is 0.67 credit, and any 1 semester hour college class is 0.33 high school credit, okay? Next slide, Mr. Nicholson. You can take CCP classes in the summer, fall, or spring semesters, okay? And I'm going to let these people over here talk about dates and timelines for that. You may take these College Credit Plus classes in different venues, okay? And let's just talk about this now. I don't know if I'm jumping around or not, but right now, we have College Credit Plus classes offered here at Newton Falls High School, taught by our English teacher, Miss Marsh. Okay, so she currently is teaching what's called College Writing 1 and College Writing 2. You're going to get 6 semester hours altogether for those 2 classes. And you're going to get 2 high school English credits for that, okay, if you take both semesters of it. Those are offered during our school day, taught by our teacher that's certified through Kent as a CCP instructor. So that's one option for you to take college credit classes, all right? We used to have Mr. Hott here. He used to teach classes certified through Youngstown State. He taught math classes. He has since went on and he's doing his doctorate degree at Kent, and he's assistant professor or whatever there. So we lost that. Which was kind of a bad deal because those were more math credits you could get through CCP. We do have one teacher, Miss McDougall, who's in the process of getting certified for math CCP, and she will be able to teach some math classes for college credit on our campus. But that's not a done deal yet. So for next year, the only thing I can guarantee our students is College Writing 1 and College Writing 2 on our campus during our school day, okay? The other options are for you to take classes at the campus. Well, naturally, there's some downfalls there. One, we have a day like today where the weather's bad, the roads are bad. You're going to have classes on campus. We have some young students here without driver's license. We have parents at work. How are you going to get your child to campus and back? Okay? Those are things you have to think of. Other options are to take college classes through the university online. As we all know, the internet has made things very flexible and available to us through taking college classes online. Now, the only thing I would say about that is having taken some online classes myself, having watched both my own children take online college classes, they can be difficult. I don't know what it is. I don't know if universities say, hey, listen, you don't have to go to class, you don't have to be in front of an instructor, you don't have to do all that, but we're really going to step it up as far as workload. So I would be real leery about that. And today's generation does a lot better than I do with online classes, I would say. But don't think going into it that it's going to be a cakewalk. Those online classes can be tough. Okay, so you got three options basically. Taking classes here on our campus, which we only have a couple right now, or going to the campus. Kent Trumbull is probably 15 minutes away. YSU's 25 or so, depending on where you're at in Newton Falls. That is an option, but how many of our students in here play sports or have after-school activities that they're committed to? Okay, so you got to consider all these things. By the time you drive to Kent Trumbull, call it a 20-minute drive, all right? Drive back, there's 40 minutes in your day just for driving. Then you take an hour class, there's an hour. Half your school day's gone, and now you come back and try to fit your classes that you want to take here into your schedule. It's like putting a puzzle together. You got to make sure the puzzle fits, and sometimes scheduling just doesn't work out, okay? All right, Mr. Nicholson, let's continue on, see where we're at. I probably skipped around a little bit. What's that say? Students must be eligible for College Credit Plus participation based on assessment exam scores. Go to the next one, because our representatives here are going to talk about that. Okay, there's some examples of what our assessment examples are. ACT, SAT, AccuPlacer, Alex, PlaceU, MapleSoft. Go to the next one. Those are all examples of what the universities are going to use to see if your child gets accepted into College Credit Plus. Mr. Nicholson and myself are basically facilitators of the paperwork and the application process. It is not our decision on who gets in. It's the university's decision. Okay. Okay, go to the next one. You can read through this stuff too. If a student's scores are not at college level, other conditions may be considered depending on the exam scores, and if the student has an overall 3.0 or recommendation or form letter. Okay, that we're going to let you talk about. Okay, next. Did he fall asleep? Okay. Must apply for admission. Are you going to go to your websites at all? I got them up there. Yeah, we can do that. So Kent Trumbull has their own site where you go online and apply. Okay, let me get these dates right. The application online must be done by May 1st, right? For fall admission, right. So if you want to start classes in the fall, your application must be done online by May 1st. And there's a bunch of paperwork that needs to go with it. We'll talk about that too. May 1st for you too, Jen, right? Okay. All right, next. Next. Okay, I said this before. Your courses that you get to take will be based on your assessment scores. Okay, next. So the question always comes up. Let's say there's a juniors in here, so you're all scheduled to take senior English next year, and let's say you get accepted into College Credit Plus, and you want to do the College Writing 1 and the College Writing 2 with Miss Marsh. Now, basically, probably everybody knows that Mr. Shelby is our senior English teacher, and you'd be scheduled for senior English next year. Okay? Mr. Crowder, the only question I had on that is, can we use that to scroll down? It's not necessarily a slideshow. Okay, that's all right. I got my own personal scroller. Okay, so can you substitute the College Writing 1 and College Writing 2 for senior English? The answer is yes. You can substitute high school mandatory credits with college classes, okay? And actually, if you're going to take a College Writing 1 class, that gets you a full high school credit. Because remember I said Every 3 semester hour class gets you 1 high school credit. So if you've taken English 9, 10, and 11 already, and next year you take College Writing 1 the first semester, you're done with your high school English requirements. Okay? But if you take College Writing 2, that just counts towards your elective high school credits, and it also goes again on your college transcripts. Okay? All right? And we'll work with the students on this. Here's how this is going to go. All of you are going to leave with information, and hopefully we answer all your questions. At the end of this, you're going to go home, talk with your kids, and say, hey, do you want to do this? You know, is this something you want to look into doing? And if they say yes, then you're going to go apply. You're going to apply online. And we're going to do some paperwork, and we're going to get that all into the universities. Okay, now, here comes time for scheduling for next year. And you're going to say, hey, I really want to take Mr. Parent's chemistry, or I really want to take Mr. Bogus's government, and this is offered here and here, and here's Mrs. Marsh's period for College Writing 1 and 2, because it's only offered one time during the day, and maybe I want to take a class at Kent or at YSU. Maybe I want to do that too, but I got drive time and I got practice afterwards. So there'll be factors for you to consider, okay? And you have to think about everything and make sure everything fits nice and neat. Most of our kids just take 1 class a semester. Some students take more. We've had kids do the full day at college. Okay, that's possible if you're eligible to take all the classes you want. And I'm going to go off track a little bit. I've talked mainly about, good things and benefits, but I want you all to consider, as a student and as a parent, that you're only in high school once, okay? And the benefits of CCP are the obvious ones. You're sitting there as a parent, have 2 kids go through college already. It's costly. It's really expensive. Okay, we all know that. So this is an opportunity for you to knock some college classes out and save some money. Obvious benefit. Your child then will save some time while they're in college. They may be able to graduate early from college because of that. They may be more flexible during their college years because they've already got some college classes out of the way. They may be able to get a second degree because they've got high school college credits out of the way. So there's a lot of benefits. But I need you to consider you're only in high school once. And maybe while your student's going to campus and taking these college classes, what are they going to miss in high school? And you may be sitting there and saying, I don't give a rat's patootie what they miss. They're going to go out there and get some classes. But think about it socially, okay? Your child's young. They're going to be in classes with adults. Young ladies, you're going to be in classes with adult men. Okay? You know what I'm talking about? Okay? No one's watching you and making sure your homework's done. No one's looking over your shoulder. Did you go to class? We've had a couple bad experiences. I'm not going to name any names. We've had students not graduate because it came springtime of their senior year and they were taking on campus an English class that was substituting for their high school senior English credit. And the weather got nice, and they got the senior flu. They didn't want to go to class. Right before graduation, we found out they failed that English class at Kent. Well, guess what? They failed the English class at high school, too. So they didn't walk. They didn't go through commencement. They didn't graduate. Now, we're talking about a very good student who got accepted into College Credit Plus. That was a tough conversation with the parent. We had a young lady back in the day when it was still post-secondary options. She probably had 30 semester hours. She was like a junior in college. She had that many semester hours completed. And she just quit going. And one of the classes she quit going to was senior English. She never got her high school diploma. Ironically, she had like 30 semester hours. So I know you're sitting there thinking, my son or daughter would not do that. Well, when they go off, there's no college professor is going to call you. They're not going to tell you that they're doing poorly. They're not telling you that they're skipping class. We're not going to know. So maturity needs to be there. You may have a very smart child, but are they ready to be mature and independent in their studies? Something to think about. Okay, I got off track. I don't even know if that had anything to do with that slide. Next. Okay, you can take any course you want as long as it's non-remedial. And the other thing is, it cannot be religious. Something about church and state. Go. I think we talked about this. Whatever you get in the college class, you're going to get that on your high school transcript, and that's going to go into your GPA in high school. Okay? Everybody understand that? It's going to go towards your class rank and GPA in high school, whatever you get in a college class. Next. Next. Our grades are not weighted in our high school. Okay, we already talked about that. College credit plus classes, as far as end of course exams, whatever you get on the CCP class, that's going to be your point total for CCP or your end of course. Next. You're allowed to take 30 semester hours of college classes in 1 year. And is it 15 a semester? Is that what it does? It? I mean, you're not allowed to take more than 15, or are you? You could? Okay. Right. So, you're allowed to take 30 semester hours a year. We haven't had anybody really do that. That's basically being a full-time college student. I think we've had kids take 12 semester hours in one semester. Next. If you do take more than 30 semester hours in a year, then you end up paying out of pocket for that. Okay. Okay. Next. Let me say this right now. It'll probably come up. If your son or daughter fails a class in College Credit Plus, just quits going and fails a class, we're going to bill you for that tuition and the cost of the class. Okay? So, that's just one other thing you got to be concerned about. Yes? If you fail the class grade-wise, that's what I'm referring to. If you get an F in that class, then you're going to get a bill from Newton Falls. Okay. This next couple slides talks about differences between college and high school. And one of the main things that you probably need to be aware of, in high school you have homework assignments that are kind of like fluff points. Those are like gimme points. You'll have an assignment a day, maybe 5-10 points here, 5-10 points there, factored into your grade. You'll have maybe a couple quizzes on a unit test before a unit test, and then you'll have that unit test. So you'll have all these points leading up to the unit. In college, you may have 3 chapters and you're only going to take 1 test. And so you either know it or you don't. And this is a big difference. So when you consider, I'm talking about if your child is a really good student, 4.0 type kid, the grading is going to be different. Okay, earning those college classes are a little bit different. Okay, next. And this talks about, in high school, I don't know how many hours your child has spent studying and all that. They say 1 to 3 hours per day for homework and studying. In college, it's 2 to 3 hours of homework for every hour spent in class. So usually 3 to 5 hours. So consider that, parents. Consider that, students. Next. Okay, next. Okay, next. Your role as a parent in high school, junior high, you as a parent are following up with teachers. You're staying on your kid. You're maybe communicating through email or phone calls with parents or teachers to get back to you on their progress. In college, please don't call a professor. You will embarrass yourself and your child. If your child gets accepted into College Credit Plus, you've been warned. It's on them. They are now an adult. In an adult setting, they are responsible for their grade. And college is just like everywhere else. There will be what you think are good professors and bad professors. There will be easy professors and really tough professors. Okay? And you get who you get, and you get the grade you earn. Do not call and whine and beg or bribe. Don't do any of that. It is what it is. They get what they get. Okay? Next. Next. You're doing good, Mr. Nicholson. Okay, we already talked about this. Students can earn high school and college credits at the same time, get a head start. Next. They get an early start on college. They get the little, when they do after high school graduation, they'll have more credit hours. They'll be maybe scheduling ahead of the normal freshmen that come with no credit hours. Okay, things like that. You get saved on tuition, textbook costs. Next. These are all benefits. Okay, we talked about the fact that if you fail or even drop a class after the deadline, then you're going to have to pay also. So that's a family responsibility. Okay? The grades that you earn are going to go on your college transcripts. So let's say you take a class through Kent State. You take College Writing 1 and College Writing 2, and let's say you don't do too well. Those follow you. Let's say you end up going to Hiram. Those classes go with you. Okay? That starts your college career. Next. Yeah. That's a great question. Anybody over there? Freshman forgiveness. Does that count with CCP? Okay, so if I had a current junior, next year take College Writing 1 and get a C in it, graduates from high school, enrolls in Kent Trumbull, and says, hey, I know I can do better in that class, they could take it over. Got it. Thank you. Good question. Next. There's no cost for tuition and books and fees. The only thing you might pay for, YSU, you would need some parking. Okay? They would have to pay for the parking. Kent Trumbull, there's free parking. Okay? Next. There it is, parking. Next. Okay? While you are a student in CCP, you can also receive some of the support services that college students receive, such as tutoring. Every university is going to have a tutoring service. So if you need some help with a class that you're taking, there'll be tutors there. You just sign up for the tutoring, and you go to that during those hours and get tutoring. There's academic advising. Most universities have counseling available, counseling centers at the university. All CCP students have available, the rec center is available to them as well, right? Okay, so that's available to them. Okay, so those type of services, your child is a college student, and they will have available to them. Okay, next. Okay, some of you raised your hand about you play sports. So again, these classes that you're taking, they go on the transcripts, and they either work for you or work against you for athletic eligibility. Okay? So if you're taking a 3-semester hour class, that's 1 high school credit, and that will count towards athletic eligibility. For fall sports, since I've got you here right now, for fall sports, your 4th 9 weeks, you have to pass 5 high school equivalent classes to be eligible to play fall sports, okay? And it's like that throughout the year. The marking period preceding the sport you play, got to pass 5. Okay, next. Next. Okay, will these courses that you take through CCP transfer to other universities? Because a lot of our kids take Kent or YSU classes, but they go somewhere else. What is that program called? The TAG program, which is, I don't know what the acronym stands for, but it's an agreement with Ohio Public Schools, right? Ohio Public Schools, that the courses that you take in a public university in Ohio will transfer to any other Ohio public university. Now, if you take those classes and try to transfer them to Hiram, Mount Union, or any other private university or out-of-state university, there's a chance it may not transfer. There's a chance it will, too. Okay? Next. We talked about this quite a bit. Next. Talked about that. Good. Next. Okay. Did everybody get a intent form? Is it called a letter of intent? Let me see that. Yeah, let me borrow that one. When you leave here, if you think for sure that, hey, my son or daughter is going to participate in CCP next year, or if you think you're pretty sure, I would love for you to fill out this letter of intent form and turn it in to me. That needs to be done by April 1st, no later than April 1st. And I would ask that your son or daughter turn it in to their appropriate counselor. Because after this meeting, if your son or daughter has the last name A through K, everything goes to me. L through Z goes to Mr. Nicholson. Thank you. Okay, April 1st, letter of intent to participate. Okay. I'm going to let you guys really talk about ACT scores and timeline and things like that. Next. Okay. Now scroll down a little bit. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Next. Okay. Go ahead. Yes, Mr. Adams. I believe so. Is there any quarters from universities out there anymore? YSU is one of the last ones. Ohio State and Cincinnati. I know Cincinnati's definitely on semester. My son just graduated from there, and Ohio State's on semesters too. I believe they are. I believe it's all semester. Yeah. Yes. No. No, and I imagine if they wanted to buy it somehow, some way they could, but they're going to turn them into the guidance counselors, and then the guidance counselors will get them back to the board, and I don't know what they do with them after that. But all good questions so far. Victoria, do you have a question? I just wanted to make sure you are awake. If you had... Yeah, I asked Mr. Crowder that situation. So you're saying because Miss McDougall is trying to get certified to teach Trig Calc, all right? So let's put this scenario together. If you had, I'm going to need some help on this one. So she would be able to take it again? Like there's no rule, hey, I already had this class. Yeah. Right. 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 So the other thing is, like, you might be thinking, well, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. If you're not sure, go ahead and apply. And if you get in, then we'll figure it out. And right up to the very last second, let's say it rolls around to, next school year at the beginning, and you say, you know what, I don't want to do it. Then we just call and withdraw you. And you might have to fill out a form saying, I no longer want to participate. So if you think you might want to do this, then go ahead and apply. So wherever you want, Kent, YSU, whatever. Now, right now, again, we don't offer any YSU classes on our campus. So your other two options for YSU would be drive there or some online stuff. Okay? Mr. Adams, you had another one. So 15 and 15 is 15 and 15 standard semester full time. Yeah. Those are, yeah. if they get everything in by May 1st, are they eligible for summer? We recommend, specialized classes and medical type classes. Those are usually all advanced level classes. The first couple years as a college student, you're knocking out your general requirements, the Englishes, the psychologies, maybe some basic science, things like that. So you're probably not going to jump right into given surgery type classes. That, you know what I mean, right? Okay. I'll say as long as you qualify for it. How's it? I'll have you, both of you, come over here now because we're taping this and I want to put it online. I know they're not going to hear you over there. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Robert Ridgel. I'm from Kent State University at Trumbull, so I'm about 15 minutes away at the Trumbull campus. To answer your question, we do have pathways for certain majors, for certain careers. College Credit Plus, with the new legislation, they want students to take at least 15 credit hours towards the Ohio Transfer Module. TAG is what it's called, it's Transfer Assurance Guide. To make sure those college credits transfer to other universities in the state of Ohio. So we want to gear most of the courses they take towards that, making sure those classes will go into degrees and programs that they go for in certain colleges, certain universities. But if there's a certain major or career you want to go into, and for sure those are the type of classes you want to take, like nursing, I know for us is a big one. I've had a lot of students knock out their pre-nursing requirements while they were in high school. So they were able to apply and get into our nursing program as freshmen, even though they were probably considered sophomores by that time. But they were able to make that 4-year nursing program a 3-year nursing program. So we did, and we've had some students who are looking at going into being pre-med majors, going to medical school, and they want to start taking some of those prereqs or some of those classes they need while they're in high school. We've had some students do that. So maybe they were applying to Neomed in Rootstown, and they wanted to start knocking out some requirements to be able to apply to that program. So we've had some students do that. Typically, our students are taking general course requirements that they need for any degree, like College Writing 1 and 2, General Psychology, Intro to Sociology, some of the math courses that we offer, whether it's trig, trigonometry, Calc 1. I think you guys have college algebra, and we have algebra for calculus, so those type of math courses. So those are usually the classes that they're taking, and even for the sciences, general physics, general chem 1, and general college physics 1. Those courses are usually for students who are going into the either engineering or the medical side, and those students usually have to make sure they have the math scores to get into those hard sciences, and and I know our chemistry requires a chemistry placement test. Now, if they want to take some of the other sciences that are for like non-science majors, as long as they meet the prereqs, they usually can get right into those science courses. Okay. Okay. I'm going to cover just some of our admissions requirements for our university. So preferred admission requirements for Kent State, preferably we're looking for a student who has at least a 3.0. Also, we want to make sure they meet the remediation-free standards for the state of Ohio. So that is an 18 in English, an English subscore, a 22 in reading, and a 22 in math. They need to meet at least one of those three requirements to be admitted into College Credit Plus. Also, they have to meet the admission standards of that college or university as well. For the regional campuses, we are open enrollment. So as long as you meet the remediation-free standards of the state, we can admit you into the university. We also have the option for placement assessment. Usually students will take placement assessment if they haven't met the ACT score, and so they may choose to take a placement assessment. For reading and writing, it's AccuPlacer. For math, for us, we use something called the ALEX math placement assessment, and ALEX for us is required whether or not you have a 22 in math or not. The 22 will get you into the program and allow you to take a college level math, but we also require you to take the ALEX math placement to determine which math course you can take at the university. But that's something you have to take additional. As far as our deadlines, our summer deadline is April 1st for summer, May 1st for fall, and then for spring, for some students who decide to start in January, in the middle of the year, that is an October 1st deadline. So they have to go online to our website. If they click the Apply Now tab, that will take them to the link to the online application. Also, there's a CCP permission form that they can, they'll click the link for that. They can actually fill out the CCP permission form, the PDF online, and then just download it and print it out and send it in with their high school transcripts and ACT scores. What else? Delivery options. We offer students have the option to take classes on campus in a lecture course with the instructor, with the faculty member. They can take a class offered at the high school. If your high school teacher is credentialed through Kent State to teach the course, I believe right now Leah Marsh is teaching College Writing 1 and 2 here at the high school. So we have some students currently in that class receiving college credit. And then they can take online courses as well. So we do have students taking online courses. We have some students doing both. I've had a few students who were taking classes on campus, online, and I've even had some taking some classes through YSU and Eastern Gateway. So they were doing everything. So we've had a few students do that. I'm trying to think. These are orientation dates for Kent campus. These aren't our dates at the Trumbull campus. We don't have ours set yet. I'll be setting those up soon. So this is from Kent's website. Now the application is going to be on the Kent campus website, the online application. So even our link on our website will take you to their website, which will have, yeah, go ahead and click that. You just scroll down. Yeah, so that's the CCP permission form you have to complete, download, and print out. The next link is the actual application that you complete. It takes about 20 minutes to complete, that application. It's going to ask you which campus you want, so make sure you select the Trumbull campus if you're going to be taking classes through our campus, because it's going to have Kent campus, Trumbull, Ashtabula, Geauga, Stark. We have 8 campuses, so make sure you select our campus. Yep, that's the application once you get in there. You're a domestic student, you're not international. Domestic student means you're in the United States. International student, something different. So make sure you pick domestic student, and it gives you all the campuses, so make sure you select Trumbull. If you have any questions about your application, make sure you contact us. Our admissions processor, she'll be able to look up your information in the system, make sure you have the proper application, make sure you have everything submitted to us. So if you're missing something like a CCP permission form, a high school transcript, ACT scores, she'll let you know what we still need to complete your application. And once your application is completed, we will notify you. We will send a letter out letting you know you've been admitted to the university as a College Credit Plus student. We will also have the dates for the orientation, because all students have to go through an orientation. I've had some orientations actually at the high school, if it was a high school course being taught here at the high school. I've done them on at the high schools. And then if you need a placement assessment, right now our math placement is actually offered online. So you will get some login information, your username, password to log into our site that we call Flashline through our website, to be able to get in there and actually take the math placement online at home. And then we get those scores in the system pretty quickly, and then we can let you know where you placed that in math. If you need any additional placement assessment, like the occupational, then you would actually have to schedule an appointment and come on campus to do that. Okay? Good. No, they will, in the application, they'll ask for an email address, a personal email, and that's what communication they'll have until they complete their admissions and are admitted. Once they're admitted, they'll get a Kent State email, and they'll have a Kent State email account. But before that, any communication will be through their personal email account that they put through with us. But also, they'll be able to actually log into through the website and check the status of their application to see what they're missing, and it'll have a checklist.
So I want to emphasize, I won't know what communication there is. A lot of parents call me and say, hey, my kid is in or out, I'm not going to know. So you need to check whatever email you give them. They need to be on that, corresponding back and forth, filling in the blanks.
And what was mentioned earlier, once the student is admitted to the university, they are considered a college student, and they have to follow the same rules and regulations that any other student on campus. They're under the same disciplinary code as any student if they're on campus. They'll get a student ID. They'll have access to our fitness center, our library, our bookstore, our computer labs, just like any other student on campus. We do have free parking on our campus, so students they don't have to pay for parking. But they will be considered a college student, and they have to follow the same curriculum, same syllabus as any other student. Their communication mostly is going to be through email with the university, whether it's me or an instructor. The instructor will have office hours. I also have office hours, and I also have appointments if they need to see me for anything. If they have anything that they need to change the class, they need to anything they need to do. If they have questions or concerns, anything going on, they can always contact me for that. Okay. Trying to think, did I cover everything? Now, the placement assessment and the ACT, we prefer students to take the ACT because we want to make sure they meet those remediation-free standards for the state of Ohio. We know there's an ACT test this Saturday that's coming up. If your child isn't already registered for that test, we prefer they have the February test because we'll have the scores back in time when they apply. If they take the April test, the only way to get the scores in time for the May 1st deadline is to go online to ACT's website when the scores are available. Usually they're available at least 2 weeks after the test, and they'll have to print them out from their website and submit them to the university that they're going to for us to have those scores in time. Otherwise, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for them to send those scores through the mail. So just be aware of that. Yeah. If you have the March scores, you can send those to us. I know last year we were getting them electronically, so they were just popping up in our system. So I guess ACT was giving those to the universities and colleges. Yeah, so if they put YSU and Kent in, sometime we'll get those electronically, and they'll already be in the system. So, yeah. Now I don't know how quickly they put those scores out there in the system for us to receive them. Hopefully they'll be in by the May 1st deadline, but I don't know how quickly ACT gets those scores out to us. Yeah, we got them pretty quickly, so I don't know. So, yeah. Right. All right, so I'm going to turn this over. Do you have one more question?
Okay, so all the resources, requirements are very much the same as Kent that you've already heard the information tonight. One thing that I always like to mention is that one of the good benefits is that even though you're in CCP, you're going to have credits that will hopefully transfer with you regardless of what institution you do go to, but you are still considered a first-time freshman. So when you apply for admission to colleges when you're a senior, you're still going to be eligible for the same first-time freshman scholarships that you would be. We get that question quite a bit. They think that they're not going to be getting those same scholarship opportunities, which is not the case. You do still qualify for first-year scholarships. With YSU, I know there was a question about, really dedicated to a medical field. While next year they'll have that level 1, level 2 requirements, so you'll have to take some of the general education tag courses first. We do have academic advisors, specifically at YSU, who are assigned for each college. So if STEM, if something science, technology, engineering, and math is in your heart, that's what you want to major in eventually, or you want nursing and you fall under health and human services, you're going to have a dedicated full-time advisor in that college who's going to be able to advise you each semester. In addition, we actually have a campus education plan that you'll fill out with the application process when you're coming to take classes on campus or online, and that will help our advisors know what you still need to take here at high school to graduate and what courses you could possibly take then at YSU. We also have an opportunity for high-achieving students, our CCP and Honors program, where if you have a 26 ACT composite and a 3.5 GPA, you would be invited to do CCP and Honors, which opens up additional courses if you really want to take on that additional challenge. Maybe not right away, but at some point during your CCP time with the university, you have that option. Our application is not available today, but hopefully this week it will be live on our website. It's free to apply, pretty simple, about 20 minutes probably to fill it out. We'll get your transcript, ACT, SAT scores, the campus education plan I mentioned, which will help us identify what classes you would be eligible to take as part of the program. And then we have a parent consent form, which is kind of a contract between parents, students, and the universities, understanding the risks and things that are involved. And so once we have all of that, we would complete your application. For us, we have two different application deadlines. March 26th is our first deadline, and that is for students who want to do summer or think they might want to do summer. As Robert mentioned, summer, if it's your first time in CCP, is not strongly encouraged just because we want you to have the best experience and do the best that you possibly can. And so taking a course over 15, 16 weeks will allow you that opportunity a little bit more so. But some students, if they're really heavily involved during the school year and summer is the best option for them, and you can definitely make it happen, just know that it's the same content, just shrunk into 5 or 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks long. So March 26th is our summer deadline. In order to apply for summer, you do need to have the February ACT. So if you've not taken the February ACT and if you're not signed up for it this weekend, then summer would not be an option for you. If you want to apply for next school year for fall and spring, the deadline is May 1st, and then we will accept through the April ACT for that admission deadline. We do have a brochure out on the table. Hopefully everyone got one. It lists all of that information, though, and if for some reason a student does not have the ACT, which is strongly encouraged, we will offer an AccuPlacer test for English, reading, and math. Our admission criteria, you do need to meet one of the same college readiness benchmarks, 18 in English or 22 in reading or 22 in math. Our admission standards are a 2.0 GPA and a 17 ACT composite. So you have to meet one of the 3 benchmarks, have at least a 2.0, and have at least a 17. That gets you into CCP, but then there are many different requirements based upon the classes that you want to enroll in. Especially coming to campus, if you want to do any science courses in particular or a calculus course. To take calculus on campus, for example, you need a 27 in your math score. To take a biology, chemistry, physics, you're going to need to have a 25 on your math. So those are some of the biggest differences. Our brochure actually highlights some of those also. If you're under 14, I know that there are some younger students, you would need to have a parent accompany you on campus if you were going to do classes on campus, which probably will not work out if you're working. And if you are driving, you would need to pay for a parking permit for us as well. Any questions for me? We do have placement testing, so again, if you're a couple points off for a certain class, we will offer you the opportunity to do placement testing over the summer, and then we have orientations that you would actually come to meet with your advisors and to schedule your courses over the summer as well.
Chrissy Braun's here from Newton Falls Public Library. Before we get going with Chrissy Braun, come on up, Chrissy. We'll get this going.
Let's give Robert and Jen a round of applause. Thank you for coming out. Give Mr. Nicholson a big round of applause. Wow. Good job, Mr. Nicholson. Okay, now, if you're like me, if I'm a parent sitting in the seats right there, I'm one of those step-by-step people, probably because I'm not very smart. So I'm going home. First thing I'm going to do is we're going to have a conversation with our kids. Can you do this? Do you want to do it? Am I confident that you can handle this? Da-da-da-da-da. All right, that's step 1. Step 2, we are going to turn that letter of intent form in either tonight or soon to the appropriate guidance counselor. Step 3, we are going to get online to YSU's CCP site or Kent's CCP site, and we're going to get this online application done. And we're going to print out some forms and get all that done. And we're going to be in constant communication with our guidance counselor to make sure we're following the steps and meeting deadlines, okay? So is that good? We good? All right. Chrissy Braun, Newton Falls Public Library, wants to talk to you a little bit about a program with ACT.
I will talk very fast. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you got 2 pieces of paper from me, and this one in particular will be of help to you if you're interested in the program for practicing for your SAT and ACT. We have a service right now called tutor.com, and through that service you can take practice ACT and SAT tests online for free. You can get your scores, and you can even get analysis for where you need to improve. It will also offer you links and videos to improve those particular portions. So this is a free service that you can use through our website at any time. Confusingly, it is called tutor.com, but in order to access it for free, you need to go to our website, not tutor.com. So you got this little flyer here. This is the whole tutor.com service, which includes live tutoring for kids and all kinds of stuff. So this is a neat one to look at. But what I want you to remember is if you want to access this service, you go to our website, which is newtonfalls.org. It's on here. You'll see a little link with these little emojis on it. You can just click there. It will ask for your library card. It does not connect back anywhere to our system, so all you need is a library card number. It can be your mom's, it can be your dad's, it can be your brother's, it does not matter. Just put in, if you just go to newtonfalls.org, hopefully we'll go there. There you go. That's us. And if you go down just a little bit, just here on the left, you're going to see that little emoji there, need a hand with homework. If you click right there, it's going to take you in, and the first thing it's going to ask for is your library card number, which we can do. I know my number. Yeah, don't steal my number. Oop, it's not doing it. And all right.
So as Chrissy's given information about how to help you with ACT score,
you should know the ACT score is the #1 factor in scholarships.
So this is,
Class rank, very important. ACT score, #1 factor.
so this right here is actually the live tutor part of the program. This is cool for homework or anything like that. If you have a math problem you're stuck on, you can actually log in here anytime between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. and get a live person who will talk to you and walk you through the program. But for the ACT part, if you go down here, there is this test prep resources. And right here, it'll say, what do you want to do? And you can go in here and say college entrance exams. And you can pick which one you want to do. And it's going to give you websites, videos, ideas. Now, if you want to actually do the practice test, you do need to sign in. So you are going to have to create an account. And the reason they do that is because then they'll send you your scores and analysis and everything. It is still free. You do have to give them a email and all that stuff, but it's still free. So that's what I wanted to let you guys know about. It's free through our website. The information's on here, and that is all I wanted to share.
Okay. I want to thank you for coming, and I know Robert, Jen, and Chrissy will stick around, and that's it, Fort Pitt.